Just know that everything behind me soon to pass away. Ballin' on our own island, no castaway. I was trying to learn the craft, I can't masquerade. Every time we make magic, yeah, gotta have the cake. They say the flowers in May, spring from the showers in April. Burning sage by the pound, all of our crystals is labeled. Try to line your read with meditation you able, and you might get a read. Tarot cards on the table, and she better have a altar in her living room. Barely ever lighting candles cause she in the mood. Not to mention love spells she was sending through. Tip a kissing too old soon if you feeling blue. It feels strange to find a guide on a voyage. No, you ain't the same, I can feel it in your aura. Came on point like the horns of a Taurus. Say you won't change, better take that thing to oil. Have to think the constellations for the day they made you. Shit, ever since a minor I've been playing major. Call me Private Ryan, I was trying to save you. See the stars is all the line and they designing greatness. So why be racing when we only chasing soul ties? You finna be the centerpiece of my soul tribe. No twin flame soulmates from an old life. So I'm thinking Maurice and you know why.
That girl fine, that girl mine. You don't wanna feel a black girl, right? You don't wanna make a black girl mine, but they always want with the black girl. I ain't talking about no rabbit in a hat trick. I say how it happened, it's black girl. Magic. I ain't talking about no rabbit in a hat trick. I say how it happens, it's black girl. Magic. And she gotta have an altar in the living room. Really living like candles cause she ain't a fool. Not to mention love spells she was sending through. Tip petition to her soon if you feeling blue.
They say the flowers in May, spring from the showers in April. Burning sage by the pound, all of her crystals is labeled. Try to line your read with meditation you able, and you might get a read. Tarot cards on the table.
That girl fine, that girl mine. You don't wanna feel a black girl, right? You don't wanna make a black girl mine, but they always want with the black girl. I ain't talking about no rabbit in a hat trick. I say how it happened, it's black girl. Magic. I ain't talking about no rabbit in a hat trick. I say how it happens, it's black girl. Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you, yeah, that's you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. I can't lose, I can't. Think they competition, they confused. They confused, they confused. I know love ain't fair, I know playing by the rules. I don't care, my eyes said and I want you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. I can't lose, I can't. Think they competition, they confused. They confused. I know love ain't fair, I know playing by the rules. I don't care, my eyes said and I want you. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. Digging deep and just feeding. Chest to chest, I feel you. I make you believe. I make you believe. This affirmations while you sleeping. Make believe. I change when you see it. Let me penetrate your I make you believe. I make you pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. This ain't make believe. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. I make you believe. Oh, I make you believe. The chest, I feel you. This ain't make believe. No, this ain't make believe. This affirmations while you sleeping. Believe. That's on my soul. And your beauty striking. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt. I can't forget the fighting. What I know. I can find a diamond mine and a heart pure gold. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't. Think they competition, they confused. They confused. They confused. I know love ain't fair. I know playing by the rules. I don't care, my eyes said and I want you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't. Think they competition, they confused. They confused. They confused. I know love ain't fair. I know playing by the rules. I don't care, my eyes said and I want you. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. Digging deep and just feeding. Chest to chest, I feel you. I make you believe. I make you believe. This affirmations while you sleep. Make believe. I change you when you see it. Let me penetrate your I make you believe. I make you pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. This ain't make believe. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. I make you believe. Oh, I make you believe. The chest, I feel you. This ain't make believe. No, this ain't make believe. This affirmations while you sleep. Make believe. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating.
Power to the dark side, family. Make sure y'all can hear me. Power to the dark side. Hopefully my audio is all clear. Y'all know we gotta give a special praise to the most beautiful goddess of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, Stemia, whose image is the most beautiful Whoopi Goldberg. Shout out to all my Babel builders in the building. Remember, if you are listening to this, together we are Babel. Let's build. Peace, peace. What's going on with you, TMKC in the building? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, this is just something I want to do coming in the aftermath, or as a bit of like I guess we could call it a follow up on the Breonna Taylor case. And Breonna Taylor, which is this is a crazy what's wild about this case is that on the night that the police entered broke into this lady's house, right? Let's not even get past that. The night that the police broke into this woman's house and she was protected by her boyfriend, in order trying to be protected by her boyfriend, and she ended up being slain by these same police that was breaking and entering. And it's crazy because all of this was based off of a warrant that they made up and for the wrong house, right? This being based off of a fake warrant. But somehow the judge takes a look at the case and still holds the actions of the boyfriend as responsible for being responsible for her death, as opposed to the police who was breaking and entering in the fucking first place. And it's just crazy because I try to think about what exactly have they not done. We've got breaking and entering. We got drive-by shooting. We got bullying tactics. Grape. Any type of way that we've seen the misuse of power, we've seen it. And the worst part about it is that it ends up, or it always seems to end off with them being protected by what's above them or who's above them. The same people who's supposed to be fair and just, Lady Liberty, right? Justice is supposed to be blind, supposedly. But how do you look at the case and not say that, well, the fact that they had no business breaking and entering into her house in the first place, that would be the cause of the situation, not the person who was trying to protect the home. That's fucking insane. Insane. So yes, charges were dropped on the police officers. The felony charges were dropped on the police officers. And they find the cause of her death was the one that was protecting the home, not the people that was breaking and entering under false pretense. That's just insane, and it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. And it's crazy because Breonna is somebody. When I see Breonna, I see like really, you know, you can see the attributes that we look to glorify and stimulate, right? It's almost no better example than looking at the young lady herself. And so it definitely does hit a certain way. When peace, what's going on with you, Angel? I appreciate you in the building. It definitely does hit a certain way because at the end of it, we you can't help but notice the skin. You can't help but notice the hair. You know. Hold on. I don't know if the damn gate broke. Hold up. Gotta make sure this gate ain't broke. I can't get in. Hold up. All right. So yeah, can y'all hear me? Yeah, I don't think it's the what you got. I think the gate broke altogether. Right. But like I said, you can't help but see. You know, for me, it hits home because of that. And a part of the reason why we created Stimia with the features of Whoopi Goldberg was because of how those features are viewed through not only the lens of ourselves, but through the lens of other people. And, you know, you just can't help but to see it, when, when looking at her, you know, and even her, even if even her shape, even her shape, it fits the stereotype of somebody who is kind of who according to the social standards or norm is somebody who they that other people try to pick on as less desirable. So no, I don't. To me, I don't think any of it is ever by accident at all. I continue to say that it's an attack on our skin, our hair, our lips, and our nose. It's an attack on all of that. But it's a sad. Like I said, it's just something that's sad. You know that to add injury to insult to the brother doing what he was trying to do in order to protect the home, and probably already being in a position where he blames himself. I think to add injury or insult would be to let the police completely off and say that nah, it was his actions that was the cause of it. Not that she wouldn't have been alive today if they hadn't have been breaking and entering, but she wouldn't have been alive today if she would have been alive today if he hadn't have been trying to protect the home. Because remember, this all happens in a split second. The intrusion. Folks playing around at your window. You don't know what the hell is going on. A lack of identification. But before we can even get to whether or not they identified themselves properly, any of that, the warrant in the fucking first place is faulty. Faulty. So them doing some slick shit to break and enter in somebody's home in the first place, that had nothing to do with the cause of death? That don't even fucking make sense. Exactly. Exactly. And it's crazy because encounters with them is based off of whether or not you rather just see your actual judge or you gonna let him judge you right here. That's the encounters that we have. Whether or not you're gonna actually allow it to go to a judge, or if you're gonna allow him to judge you right here. Right? So we gotta definitely, we can't be surprised. We definitely should be hurt. But sad enough, not surprised. None of the above. Um, let's see. I did want to show something. All right. My fault, y'all. Peace. Shout out to the high priestess. Akasha, I appreciate you in the building. Um, we'll watch this and then probably gonna end it after this. But hold on, let me find it. Let me drop the link so I can jump in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end it after this video. It's like 20 minutes. I'm gonna have it just playing though. Um, cause actually my lunch is over in like 5 minutes. Once again, I appreciate y'all being in here and being patient. All right, let me go get the link real quick to the video we gonna watch. Let's see. Oh, I gotta drop the link for myself. Oh, so I can share. All right. Let's get this going.
This is our city. This is our town.
For months in Kentucky, residents outraged by the killing of Breonna Taylor campaigned for the police officers who shot her to face charges.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Brett Hankison.
In September, a grand jury investigation indicted one officer for shooting into a neighboring apartment and no one for killing Taylor.
Is that the decision of the grand jury? I will grant the motion and assign bond in the amount of $15,000 full cash and issue a warrant.
Is that it? Is that the only topic? What about the other? It can't be it. It can't be it.
No one has been held accountable. This is injustice, and this is a start clock for the next level of our protest.
What happened in the final minutes of Breonna Taylor's life? A full telling of that story has been impeded because none of the 7 police officers who raided her apartment used body cameras, a violation of police policy. But with the recent release of thousands of documents and images collected during 3 investigations, the Times initiated a fresh examination of the case. We used crime scene photos to create a precise
Peace,
model.
Juju. Appreciate you in the building.
We forensically mapped out and retraced the first bullet fired by Taylor's boy.
Now we have to definitely take a look at that. That's not a problem. That none of them have their body cam on conveniently. Okay.
Boyfriend, and the 32 bullets that police shot in return, through windows, walls, and ceilings. Using interviews officers gave to investigators, we charted their movements as they carried out the raid. And we analysed hours of 911 calls, grand jury proceedings, and footage by the SWAT team that arrived after the shooting.
Man, can you hear us?
Members of the grand jury have accused Kentucky's Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, of shielding the officers involved from homicide charges.
Our investigation found that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in their use of force.
Boom, 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 boom.
Sergeant Mattingly may have been justified in returning fire when he's fired upon, but our new analysis paints a more complicated picture about how this raid was compromised from beginning to end. We'll outline the flawed intelligence and tactical mistakes of a hodgepodge team of officers, their failure to properly announce their presence at Taylor's, the chaos and excessive use of force that ensued.
Okay, there's another hole right below the clock.
And we'll explore the damning analysis of an experienced SWAT commander who was called to the scene after the shooting.
We just got the feeling that night that something really bad happened.
The focus of the police investigation on March 13th is not Taylor's apartment, but properties 10 miles away in West Louisville.
Metro Police!
Hands behind your back, boss.
We're executing a search warrant. Come out!
Where dozens of SWAT and police officers arrest an ex-boyfriend of Taylor's and his associates and seize evidence including drugs. These officers are wearing their body cameras and they carry out the raid safely and without incident. What the SWAT team doesn't know is that at this time, a hastily assembled team of narcotics officers is about to raid Taylor's home across town. They suspect her ex-boyfriend keeps cash or drugs there, but their intel is poor. They don't know she has a new boyfriend and they think she lives alone. When 7 officers begin the raid at 12:40 a.m., they notice the lights are off, except for the flicker of a TV in a bedroom.
The light on the bedroom, the TV. I remember.
At this time, a hastily assembled team of narcotics officers is about to raid Taylor's home across town. They suspect her ex-boyfriend keeps cash or drugs there, but their intel is poor. They don't know she has a new boyfriend and they think she lives alone. When 7 officers begin the raid at 12:40 a.m., they notice the lights are off, except for the flicker of a TV in a bedroom.
The light on the bedroom, the TV. I remember seeing it lit up blue or when we pulled up.
Suggesting they know where Taylor is. In less than 3 minutes, she would be fatally shot. Inside, Taylor had dozed off while watching a movie with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Adjacent is the bedroom of Taylor's sister, but she's not home. A hallway from the bedrooms leads to a living area, and the apartment's entrance is in this breezeway. The only light is this lamp opposite her door, where now the police begin to stack. In this reconstruction, we hear the official testimonies given by the 2 officers nearest the door, Mattingly and Nobles, Cosgrove, who's providing cover, and Hoover and Hankinson beside them. And we'll hear from neighbours and Kenneth Walker, who was interviewed by police right after the shooting.
When we all got up in line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Just as Mattingly begins to knock, a man emerges from the apartment directly above. He doesn't live there, but is picking up his child after finishing work.
The door right there, that's why the babysitter leave. So I came to pick up my little girl.
A squabble with Detective Brett Hankinson ensues, and already the team seems on edge.
I remember Brett extending his gun saying, "Get back in your apartment, get back in your apartment." Brett was a little bit worked up. I remember looking at Brett saying, "Brett, relax. Brett, just relax, relax."
The man retreats inside. The police are supposed to be conducting
That ain't never a good sign. Never a good sign. To the point where they saying they gotta tell. You could almost tell they're setting the stage for this is the gun happy guy.
a knock and announce raid, but that's not what Mattingly says happens at first.
We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door.
Inside, Taylor wakes up.
So it's a loud bang at the door. She pops up out of her sleep. It scared her to death. Me too. Like, who is that?
Banged on the door, no response. Banged on it again, no response. At that point, we started announcing ourselves.
Whether the police announced themselves clearly enough is a critical issue in this story that we'll return to later on. Not knowing who's at the door this late, Walker grabs his licensed handgun.
Another knock at the door. She's like, "Who is it?" Loud at the top of her lungs. No response.
So that's a wonderful way to start. License handgun. They're asking, who is it? They're getting no response. Key.
I'm like, what the heck?
They rush to get dressed and walk toward the door.
We never even made it like mid-hallway. But as loud as we were screaming to say who it is, I know whoever would be on the other side of the door could hear us.
Outside, some of the police do hear Taylor.
I can hear somebody inside. I kept telling John, I can hear her.
But after knocking and waiting for around 45 seconds, they decided they've given her enough time to respond and rammed the door open.
The last time, I just said, let's just hit it. And that's when we did the, police search warrant.
We'll show here what the police and Walker describe seeing next.
So to admit that, you told them I can hear her. Nobody thought, let's make sure that it's understood who's at the door. Nobody thought that. You're waking somebody up at 1 something in the morning. You don't know at what point of my sleep I done woke up at all.
Next.
And I hit it. After the third hit, it flew open. And that's when it hit the fan.
As we're coming to the door like comes off the hinges like an explosion.
The officers now make a tactical mistake. Mattingly steps into the doorway and puts himself in what police describe as the fatal funnel, a position vulnerable to gunfire and hard to move from.
I could see down the hallway, and there's the male and a female side by side, shoulder to shoulder, almost like they were together.
The apartment is lit only by the breezeway light that's coming from behind Mattingly and the faint glare of the TV in Taylor's bedroom.
You can't see anybody, though. It was dark. There was no lights.
Thinking it's an intruder, Walker aims low, shoots once, and hits Mattingly in the thigh.
I feel like I aimed down because I wasn't, of course, I don't need to kill anybody. So I just let off one shot.
Mattingly immediately returns fire.
I got 4 rounds off, and it was like boom, 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 boom.
Then all of a sudden, there's a whole lot of shots.
Mattingly fires 2 more rounds when he falls and takes cover. Almost at the same time, Cosgrove moves in and fires, stepping on Mattingly in the process. He has now also put himself in the fatal funnel, and although he's shooting, he appears to have no idea what's happening.
I see blinding, vivid white light and blackness at the same time. I don't hear any gunfire at all, ever. And I did not have any pain sensation or any recollection that I'm firing.
He continues shooting blindly until he runs out of ammunition, a total of 16 rounds.
If you told me I didn't fire a gun, I'd be like.
So technically, this guy wasn't even there, right? Technically, this guy ain't even there. According to him, he done had a whole fucking outer body experience. At this moment, this nigga is having a full outer body experience to the point he's not even there. Like, that's outrageous. Yeah, you ain't, and then it's crazy because that's not a problem. That according to his recollection, no gunfire, he never heard any gunfire. The fuck was you shooting at? You didn't see anything, so you just jumped in the middle of a shootout, just start firing. It's crazy, man.
Okay, I believe you.
In response to Walker's shot, Mattingly and Cosgrove together fire 4 shots into a chair, cupboards, and a stove in the kitchen. 2 bullets go into the ceiling and pass through the living room in the apartment above, where the man, his 2-year-old daughter, and babysitter waited. 3 more shots go into the living room wall to the right. and the officers fire 13 rounds down the hallway where Taylor and Walker stood. Taylor is shot 6 times on both sides of her body, in the abdomen and chest, her arm and leg, and twice in her foot. In all, these 2 officers fired 22 rounds in less than a minute. An FBI ballistics report found that both of them shot Taylor, and that one of the 16 rounds Cosgrove fired was the lethal bullet.
We both dropped to the ground, but I just hear her screaming, and
Thinking they're under attack, some of the officers flee when they hear a pause in shooting.
There was a little bitty moment of no shots. I was like, here's the time to go. And then it all started up again.
We don't know the precise sequence of events, but Detective Hankinson runs to the front.
I can hear the firing as I'm making the corner. I can see the flashes, the muzzle flashes.
But the only ones shooting are police. Even though all the curtains are drawn, Hankinson blindly fires 5 bullets through the patio windows.
My only option was to return fire, and I did that to the muzzle flashes.
He moves and fires 5 more rounds through the bedroom window of Taylor's sister, who isn't home. 2 bullets fly over Walker and Taylor, but none hits them. The bullets that go into the living area pass over Taylor's sofa and kitchen table and smash her clock. 3 penetrate the wall and enter her neighbour's apartment. Those bullets also smash the kitchen table, hit a wall, and shatter the patio doors at the rear. A pregnant woman, her son, and partner were home. Hankinson has been charged with wantonly endangering their lives. In total, the police fire 32 bullets, penetrating almost every room in Taylor's apartment. They hit saucepans, cereal boxes, and smash into her shower. They puncture shoes, shatter cleaning equipment, and land in her sister's clothing. And 3 minutes after police came to search her home, a fatally wounded Taylor is lying on the ground.
I'm just panicking and I'm telling somebody, I'm yelling help because she's right here bleeding and nobody's coming, and I'm just confused and scared, and I feel the same right now. That's it.
Months later, when Attorney General Daniel Cameron presented the charges against Hankinson and said that Mattingly and Cosgrove's actions were justified, he emphasised that police did properly announce themselves.
Evidence shows that officers both knocked and announced their presence at the apartment.
But actually, the evidence is far from clear. In 911 calls immediately after the shooting, Taylor's neighbours don't know police are carrying out a raid.
Please get a police out here. They are shooting back. Something's going on next door, and there's bullet holes all the way through the wall, through our glass. I have a 5-year-old in here, so something needs to be explained to me.
And in statements police took afterwards, none of Taylor's neighbours heard the officers announce. This apartment's patio door was open.
I mean, I was completely unaware that it was cops.
2 teenagers in this apartment heard a commotion, but didn't hear police announce through their open window, their mom said.
They told me that nothing was said, that they just beat on the door. I said, so y'all don't know if it was them? She was like, they didn't say nothing. They just beat on the door.
And the family who lived directly above Taylor also heard nothing.
Before the gunshots come out, did you hear anything?
Conversations or anything like that? People talking? No.
In their statements and in interviews with the Times, over a dozen neighbours say they did not hear the police. Attorney General Cameron's assertion rests on the accounts of police officers and a single witness, Aaron Sarpy, the man collecting his daughter that night and who saw the police when he came outside. In his first interview with investigators, Sarpy was asked what he heard when he went back inside.
Did you ever hear anyone identify themselves as police?
No, nobody identified themselves.
Months later, he told police his memory was foggy, but that he thought officers did announce. And beyond what the police said, this critical grand jury conclusion rested on his entirely inconsistent account. After the raid, the scene outside is chaos. Officers tend to Mattingly, but an ambulance that had been staging nearby is nowhere to be found.
Fuck this EMS. There's 15 minutes away. Somebody give me the radio with SWAT on it.
They radio the SWAT officers across town.
Shout out to the Sith Lord. Ain't it crazy that they acting like they been in like a full war and they was in a shootout with one dude who fired a few shots? What type of panicking they got going on? Like, this is ridiculous.
EMS on Spring.
who are surprised by the call.
We're Springfield. They're requesting armor down there. We're gonna go ahead and take it.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
They head for Taylor's address.
It's an apartment.
I didn't know they were in that. I knew it was part of the investigation.
As SWAT arrives, close to 40 police vehicles are already at the scene. Around this time, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, is being arrested.
You've been hit by a bullet. That's unfortunate. Keep walking backwards. Hey, come on, we need to get moving because there might be a victim inside. Keep walking backwards. You're scared, right?
Walk back! I don't send this dog! Walk back to me!
Walker had called 911 and neighbors had heard his pleas for help.
You're in a fucking prison, that's what's going on.
But at 1 a.m., almost 20 minutes after the shooting, the police still don't know Taylor is critically injured inside.
There's somebody in there dead? Yeah, my girlfriend. It's her house. We have to go in if there's somebody. Yeah. What is this about? My girlfriend is dead. I don't get. Keep walking.
As Walker is being led out, SWAT gets ready to secure the apartment.
Hey, there's a kid upstairs. He's not. It's a kid upstairs, little kid.
What the? Hey, front door, front door. Yeah, front door. Moving. Short. Clear.
Looks like clear. Go ahead and get EMS in here. Let me check her pulse.
Only now, half an hour after the raid began, does an EMT finally check Taylor. And later, as two officers stand guard, they take in the scene.
Shout out to
You see
her
Taylor's
in the
uniform.
building.
She worked as an emergency room technician in city hospitals. They note the bullet holes.
Body level. Hey, can anybody advise if we talk to the neighbors directly above this apartment? There's gunshot holes in the ceiling.
Outside, the SWAT officers debrief on what they've seen.
Hey, camera's off there, Mike.
Yeah, mine's off. This is the fucking one that said that it is today.
The SWAT commander who was called to Taylor's home after the raid was later interviewed by investigators.
It
We just got the
really
feeling
is.
that night that something really bad happened.
Dale Massey, a 20-year police veteran, was highly critical of what unfolded. He said there was no coordination with SWAT.
We had no idea they were going to be at that apartment that night. I would have advised them 100% not to do it.
And that executing another warrant at the same time may have compromised Taylor's safety.
We treat safety very important, right? So like simultaneous warrants, bad business.
Narcotics officers testified that they didn't know Taylor had a new boyfriend, that her sister lived there, or that her 2-year-old goddaughter regularly stayed. Massey said that
So what the fuck information were y'all moving in on?
the department had a history of poor intelligence gathering.
Back in the day, we would take a lot of detective information and take it as golden. Not anymore, because so often there's no kids, there's no dogs, we're told, there's kids and dogs. So we have an exhaustive recon process that we go through.
He said standing in the doorway, the fatal funnel, as Mattingly and Cosgrove had, was a tactical mistake.
Is it practical or is it even common for 3 people to be in what we consider the fatal funnel?
Absolutely not. No. You would never put, yourself in that situation.
And that there's a right way and a wrong way to conduct a raid. You knock, announce, and give people ample time to leave.
We're not going to rush in to get dope. We're not going to treat human life's more important than any amount of dope, right?
And just to be clear, no drugs were ever found at Taylor's. His harshest criticism was of Hankinson's blind shots into the apartment.
You have to know, A, what you're shooting at, B, what's in front of it, and B, what's behind it. There's no other way you can operate. It was just an egregious act.
Under Kentucky law,
Because he more than likely was shooting at the police in that
he
case.
believed was an aggressor. And the police in turn have a right to self-defense. But in this analysis, the killing of Breonna Taylor resulted from poor planning compounded by reckless execution. Louisville has instituted police reforms, and Taylor's family received a substantial settlement. But the case isn't closed. Investigations and lawsuits are ongoing. And 9 months after Taylor was killed, her family is seeking a fresh inquiry into the officers involved.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, $118 for car insurance. That's how much I was paying, okay? I picked up the car a few months ago and watch this. Ready? $97 premium, $20 were my fees, $118. Now, I
Fuck
covered
about
up
they
the private
protocol.
information, guys.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. We have an exclusive interview with Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. His name is Kenneth Walker. Now, he was with Taylor when she was killed by Louisville police officers on March 13th. He told us that they were in bed watching a movie when police raided the apartment as part of a narcotics investigation that was targeting her ex-boyfriend. We should point out that Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor do not have a criminal history, and no illegal drugs were found in that home. We went to Louisville over the weekend to talk with Kenneth Walker about that night.
To the world, it's just a hashtag, a picture, and all of that. But to me, it was.
Wait a minute. So you telling me all of that, and they ain't even at least find a fucking nickel bag after all of that?
Much more. More than a girlfriend, too. I think that's what I want the world to know the most. That was my best friend. The most important person, pretty much, to me on the earth. And they took her.
Let's go back to that day. What kind of day was it for you two?
It was a normal day. It was a relaxed day. Really just chilling and just being us. You know, we went on a date, went out to eat, went back in the house, playing, watching a movie.
Take us to that moment when your life really changed forever.
It was a loud bang at the door. You know, nobody was responding when we were saying, "Who is it?"
You all did ask, who is it?
Several times, both of us. And there was no response.
You know, the police say that they said several times, it's the police.
If they knock on the door and say who it was, we can hear them. It's dead silent. I know 1,000,000% sure that nobody identified themselves.
So the next thing you hear, the door flies off the hinges. Are you feeling afraid?
Definitely afraid. But I don't have much room to be afraid because I got somebody here that I got to take care of.
So you hear the heavy knocking, and what do you do?
So now at that point, we're getting up to put on clothes, make ourselves decent to answer the door. Then I grab my gun.
We should also say you were licensed to carry the gun.
For sure. That was the one time I had to use it. I mean, if it was the police at the door and they just said we're the police, me or Breonna didn't have a reason at all not to open the door and see what they wanted.
So the doors fly off the hinges.
I let off one shot, and I'm figuring if somebody's trying to break in or something, they're not gonna want to do anything after that.
And after that, what happens?
I don't think I ever heard so many gunshots like all at the same time. I've never been to war, but I assume that's what war probably sounds like.
One officer fired 6 shots. Officer Mattingly. Officer Cosgrove fired 16 shots. Officer Hankinson fired 10 shots. That is a lot of firepower.
I still try to make sense of it to this day. There was definitely nowhere to hide. There's bullets coming in every direction.
When did you realize that Breonna had been shot?
I guess in the middle of all the gunfire, like she screamed, but like I was holding her hand.
You were holding her hand?
Yeah, like while this was happening, I pulled her down to the ground. But she was just scared, so she just didn't get down.
So in the middle of all of this, you realize that she's been hit. Was she alive at the time?
She was still, and when all the gunfire stopped, she was like bleeding and stuff, and I was holding her. Then that's when I called my mom.
You called your mom first?
Yeah, I told her that somebody just kicked in the door and shot Breonna, and she's freaking out at this point, but she told me to call 911, so I did.
911, Operator Harris, where is the emergency?
I don't know what's happening. Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend.
While you're on the phone, you don't know it's the police.
I didn't know it was the police, not at all. And I even proceeded to tell 911 that, somebody just kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend. If I knew who it was, I would have said the police. Or I wouldn't have been calling the police on the police. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Where was she shot at?
I don't know. She's on the grill right now. I don't know.
Is she alert and able to talk to you? No, she's not. Breathe. God.
In the midst of me talking to 911, I'm like, well, Breonna's mama should know about this too. I hung up on them and I called her mom.
The police didn't come rushing in?
Not at all. I don't think I realized that it was the police until I was on the phone with Breonna's mom. I heard like people outside talking. I thought they was, coming for help because I called 911.
So you think they're coming to help you?
Yes. So when I come outside, there's guns pointed at me. I'm being threatened with dogs and whatever else.
Don't look back. Put your hands on your head. That's what's going on.
The officer asked me, was I hit by any bullets? I said no. He said, that's unfortunate. So that threw me off too. So I'm like, what's he mean by that?
That's unfortunate, he said to you after you've just lost your girlfriend and you don't know what is happening. What did you think when he said that?
I didn't know what to think, and I really wasn't worried about me. Only reason I'm even out here is because the only way for her to get help in there is for me to be out here.
We were scared. No, we didn't know who it was. We didn't even know who it was.
And I was in the back of the car. I don't know. I got drugged all the way down the street. It was cold. It was wet. I didn't wear any socks and shoes on gravel, rocks, and everything. And they was just dragging me like I had scabs and stuff on my feet from that.
When they take you to the police station, still no socks and shoes?
Still no socks and shoes. When we finally left the scene, we pulled over in like a random parking lot on Manslake, which is the street like at the bottom of the hill down the street from Breonna's apartment. And another officer in an unmarked car, and he wasn't in uniform and stuff, and he came to my window, but his tone was way different than everybody else's who was just on the scene.
How so? Different how?
He told me that this was a misunderstanding, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it, and asking me, did I need anything? Did I need water and this and that?
Hey, partner, can I get your name? Kenneth Walker. Matt, there was a little bit of miscommunication. I wanted to talk to you before they left.
And then when I got to the police headquarters or whatever it was, they took the handcuffs off of me and everything. I was walking around. I went to the bathroom.
Go ahead. When you get in there, you can take the handcuffs off.
So clearly y'all know something's wrong. Because you don't...
You're allowed to move freely.
Yeah, you don't allegedly shoot a police officer and they take the handcuffs off you.
Were you surprised to hear that you were accused of shooting a police officer?
I definitely was surprised. But I was more concerned about, is he okay and is Breonna okay? At this point, I still didn't even know if she was alive or not.
So when did officers tell you you were going to be charged with attempted murder? When did you hear that?
Maybe like 5 or 6 in the morning that same night.
What did you think?
I was worried about if Breonna was okay or not.
When were you finally told that Breonna didn't make it?
I never really got told, like, directly. I saw it on the news.
That's how you heard Breonna Taylor died? On the news?
Pretty much. And I was in the cell and it was like on the news and it said one, female dead. It confirmed it. I didn't know for sure what condition, she was in when I left. So I didn't know what they did, but as these body cam videos and stuff come out, I see they did nothing. Clearly we see the SWAT team in there and she was still in there. They're still like casing the apartment with her laying right there on the ground.
Apartment 4 is now a crime scene. Let's go ahead and move out. All right, she's done.
Disrespectful.
Do you think if you would not survive this incident, that we would be hearing the story that we're hearing today? If you had not survived it?
Definitely not. There wouldn't be a story. You probably wouldn't even know about it. If I didn't live, you probably wouldn't even know about Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor or Kenny Walker.
Or Kenny Walker.
Nah, you're right, because her energy is definitely feels standoffish. Almost like he's by himself and alone. I'm not too sure, but we'll feed him from like a long handled spoon, almost in a way. It is a little,
I don't want everybody to know about Kenny Walker now. As long as everybody knows Breonna Taylor.
And what do you want us to know about Breonna Taylor?
Just, she would have did anything for anybody. She took care of a lot of people. There's a lot of people that need her bad right now, including me.
Wow.
A grand jury accepted the Kentucky Attorney General's recommendation not to charge any officers for Breonna Taylor's death. Both the Louisville Metro Police Department and attorneys for 3 individual officers involved declined our request for interviews or for comment. I mean, I'm very struck. Kenny Walker, you can still see, is shattered. He's still in a lot of pain. I think this interview was very difficult for him. That night they were watching a movie called Freedom Riders, and he went to watch it again. And he said he still gets triggered by songs, movies, certain types of food. And I think it's so important to discuss, to stress, no criminal record.
Yep.
It was the first time that he's ever fired his gun when he wasn't on the shooting range. And to this day, he goes, I'm not really even sure I hit the police officer. They told me I did, but I'm not really even sure about that.
I think everybody in America should watch that piece because they think they may have an idea of what happened. This will change your perspective. And I think it comes down to accountability and proportional use of force.
Yes.
This is a legal Kentucky gun owner who fired one shot into what he thought was an intruder. He got 20 plus bullets from multiple people on the outside who couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah.
That's not proportionate.
And it's totally dark in the apartment. That was interesting, too, about calling 911. He said, why would I call 911 if I thought it was the police?
Well, and clearly by what he says to 911, he doesn't understand what's happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the really compelling part, too, is the way he was treated there and the different way he was treated at the police station.
Exactly right.
Exactly right. Do other police officers think that was a disciplined response to Kenneth Walker's single shot? I think that's a question I'd like to have.
It's a lot of questions. And we've got more of their interview with Kenneth Walker. In our next hour, we'll have more of what he says, including his reaction to the nationwide protest over Breonna Taylor's death. As he said, to a lot of
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
What's good with you, Tip? Just want to give us the update on this one. So this is the update as the latest news as to what has happened.
Major update in the case of Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old Louisville woman killed in her own home in a police raid, which was set off protests nationwide. Last week, a federal judge threw out felony charges against 2 former officers who were accused of falsifying the warrant that sent police to Taylor's door. Jerika Duncan reports.
Breonna Taylor's death sparked an outcry for racial justice across the country after police shot and killed her in 2020. Taylor was caught in the crossfire when Louisville police raided her apartment using an allegedly false drug warrant. Her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired one shot that hit an officer in the leg. Police returned fire 32 rounds, 8 of which hit Taylor. Walker, a licensed gun owner, said he believed an intruder was breaking in. Following the shooting, the Department of Justice filed charges against 4 officers.
Those alleged crimes include civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction offenses.
But late last week, a federal judge in Kentucky dismissed felony charges against 2 of them. Former Louisville police detective Joshua Janes and former Sergeant Kyle Meany. The judge ruled that it was not a bad warrant, but it was Walker's actions that legally caused Taylor's death because he fired the first shot. Janes and Meany were not at the raid, but prosecutors accused them of knowingly falsifying part of the warrant and putting Taylor in danger by sending armed officers to her apartment. In a statement to CBS News, an attorney for Breonna Taylor's family said, quote, "We are devastated at the moment by the judge's ruling and are just trying to process everything."
Every day feels like March the 14th to me. Every day does.
CBS News spoke with Walker about Taylor's death in 2021.
And I'm sitting right here today and I'm feeling tired.
Tired. What are you tired of?
I'm tired of having to get up every day and, and my life is changed. Like, I'm the only person who has to deal with it every day. Breonna Taylor's just a hashtag to other people, but she was something bigger than me, of course.
Prosecutors plan to appeal the decision. That's according to the Taylor family's attorney. And attorneys for the two officers told CBS News that they are, quote, very pleased with last week's ruling. And just moments ago, I got off the phone with Kenneth Walker's attorney. He said that Walker cannot be prosecuted again, but they're not commenting at this time. So for the family, though, this has been a long road to some form of justice and obviously a big blow to them to see two more officers not at all held responsible for Breonna Taylor's death. Mm-hmm.
So that's the crazy part, right? We looking at something based off of no warrant, a faulty warrant.
The major update in the case of Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old Louisville woman killed in her own home in a police raid, which was set off protests nationwide. Last week, a federal judge threw out felony charges against two former officers who were accused of falsifying the warrant that sent police to Taylor's door. Jerika Duncan reports.
Breonna Taylor's death sparked an outcry for racial justice across the country after police shot and killed her in 2020. Taylor was caught in the crossfire when Louisville police raided her apartment using an allegedly false drug warrant. Her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired one shot that hit an officer in the leg. Police returned fire 32 rounds, 8 of which hit Taylor. Walker, a licensed gun owner, said he believed an intruder was breaking in. Following the shooting, the Department of Justice filed charges against 4 officers.
Those alleged crimes include civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction offenses.
But late last week, a federal judge in Kentucky dismissed felony charges against 2 of them. Former Louisville police detective Joshua Janes and former Sergeant Kyle Meany. The judge ruled that it was not a bad warrant, but it was Walker's actions that legally caused Taylor's death because he fired the first shot. Janes and Meany were not at the raid, but prosecutors accused them of knowingly falsifying part of the warrant and putting Taylor in danger by sending armed officers.
It's like whether they knowingly did it or not, they did it. We don't need to judge intent. It's the fact that they did it. It's the fact that the warrant itself is falsified. I don't give a fuck why you did it, how you did it, if it was on purpose, if the computer made the mistake. Nigga. Like this is where it gets crazy.
Officers to her apartment. In a statement to CBS News, an attorney for Breonna Taylor,
And then you talking about one shot compared to
are devastated at
32.
the moment of the judge's ruling and are just trying to process everything.
Every day feels like March the 14th to me. Every day does.
CBS News spoke with Walker about Taylor's death in 2021.
And I'm sitting right here today and I'm feeling tired.
Tired. What are you tired of?
I'm tired of having to get up every day and, you know, and my life is changed. Like I'm the only person who has to deal with it every day. Breonna Taylor's just a hashtag to other people, but she was something bigger than me, of course.
Prosecutor.
You know, and I think, this is just, to me, I feel like we in a good space as far as the information brought out to end it. I appreciate everybody that came out. It's a big deal, in general. This started a lot of it, especially we talk about Say Her Name. Like I said, it's just hard to see somebody that almost personifies, the features of STEMIA and, the point of STEMIA. It's just something that's tough to actually, see and witness. I also see it, the people not being held accountable. You almost wish, like, bro, it's almost like you was better off emptying the clip. And honestly, that's a part of the story that's a tough pill to swallow. But if your girl ain't walking out of there, you shouldn't be walking out of there either, righteous. Because don't bring my baby back. Nah. But I'll say that part for another day. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that for another day. But as far as right now, the people who should be held responsible for falsifying documents, for breaking and entering, and whatever it may be, at the end of the day, they're getting ready to get a slap on the wrist, if anything, if any punishment. Even though the protocol was fucked up, they firing shots all in the neighbor's house, upstairs, the wall behind them. Right? So yeah, I think that, and until that's going to be a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. But that's something that I gotta look at. If that was my daughter, honestly, I would want you too, bro. I gotta take your body, cause there's no way you bring my daughter to me dead and you ain't got even no scratches on you. We need to be trying to wake you up out of a coma, if anything. So don't play. Like, it's almost kind of confusing. How did that even happen? But like I said, I ain't gonna use this show to speculate. I'll be an asshole on another one. But yeah, I do definitely have an issue with the outcome. Just period. It is what it is. I definitely got an issue with the outcome. But let it be a lesson to do better. With that being said, like I said, I appreciate everybody coming through. I'll try to go live a little bit later on. Peace.
Yeah, that's you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. Think they competition, they confused. I know love ain't fair. I'm playing by the rules. I don't care. My eyes said and I want you. I don't play them games, so I can't lose. Think they competition, they confused. I know love ain't fair. I'm playing by the rules. I don't care. My eyes said and I want you. Pretty, I'm repeating. Digging, just feeding. Chest to chest, I make you believe. This ain't make believe. Pretty Ricky, oh, pretty Ricky, instant. I'll make you believe. Oh, I'll make you believe. The chest I feel you. This ain't make believe. No, this ain't make believe. This affirmations while you sleeping. Believe. That's on my soul. And your beauty striking. Lightning bolt. I can't forget the fight and what I know. I can find a diamond mine and a heart pure gold. Yeah, that's you. I don't play them games so I can't do. Think they competition, they confused. I know love ain't fair. I'm not playing by the rules. I don't care. My eyes said and I want you. I don't play them games so I can't go. Think they competition, they confused. I know love ain't fair. I'm not playing by the rules. I don't care. My eyes said and I want you. Pretty Ricky, I'm repeating. Digging deep into some feeding. Chest to chest, I feel you. I'll make you believe. I'll make you believe. This affirmations while you sleep. Make believe. I'll change you when you see. And let me penetrate your dreams. I'll make you believe. I'll make you pretty Ricky, I'm repeat. This ain't make believe. Pretty Ricky, I'm pretty Ricky, instant. I'll make you believe. Oh, I'll make you believe. The chest I feel you. This ain't make believe. No, this ain't make believe. This affirmations while you sleep. Believe.